Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My sister and I took a vacation down to Southern California and we thought we would visit some nurseries, and it turned into quite a few nurseries. So we wanted to show you guys all the things that we purchased. We kind of organized everything by nurseries, and then I will separate each portion of the video into different nurseries to show you guys what we got. So the first nursery that we went to is I believe it's called Lincoln Nursery. It is one in Pasadena. It was close to where we were staying the first few nights that we were there. So we picked up, first of all, the hibiscus, which doesn't look quite so good, but I've always liked the hibiscus and I thought I would get a pink one to start out with. This one actually had quite a few bugs in it, and unfortunately it stayed inside my car for a super long time, so all the bugs were crawling all over the place. It doesn't look good because it was in the car for I think like 5 days or so, and we didn't really water it. We couldn't. It was very hot. We tried to roll down the window, but hopefully this one will bounce back. I'm not sure. Either that or it's going to its death right now. And next up we just got some succulents because we focused more on the succulents only because they actually didn't have that many orchid places. In fact, they were all about cactus, succulents, whatever, like all these plants. So some of them will have labels and some will not. Here is the first plant. This is something that my sister picked up. This is the Andromyscus filicalis, and it should have pink flowers. So this one fell off, and this one is still in bloom. It actually looks really cute, and I don't know whether this one has a name. No, it doesn't. And if I find a name, I'll put it up on the screen. This one looks really cool because it looks like it's actually covered with a little bit of paper, but it's not. That's just how it is. And you can actually peel off these white layers. It's like an onion layer. This one doesn't have a label either, but we just got them because it looks variegated, as you can see on the main plant. And then all of these babies are coming out. This is one that my sister picked up and she really likes this. It's just a pattern. It goes straight up, and I think we actually left this place because I was really cheap and I thought, oh, we could go somewhere and maybe find something a little bit cheaper, so we actually went back for some of these plants. So this is a plant that we went back for. We picked up this one as well. This is the Euphorbia millii dwarf Apache. This is a crown of thorns. I love the tag on this because it really describes pretty much everything that you need to know. And we squish it when we put some stuff on top of it, but it has really pretty red flowers. And it's gonna look pretty short, so you can see on the side, it just looks short like that. And there's quite a few branches that are coming out. This is called the Silver Mound, and I thought this would be really great for a ground cover because it's so super soft. So when you feel it is super soft, it's just that it was in heat and it wasn't watered for a week, and it looks like it's starting to die off. So hopefully after I water it, it'll be okay. So this next haul comes from Francis Cactus Succulents, and this, we thought it was going to be a big place, but it actually turned out to be this tiny little place out in Los Angeles. It was so freaking small, maybe like 400 square feet in the front, but it was so tiny. We picked up a whole bunch of plants, but none of them had labels on them, and it was just kind of sad because I really wanted the names, but I could probably look up some of the names on here. This is the monkey tail cactus, and I've always been looking for one. It looks like so funny. We picked up some really fuzzy cactus because we dig it. I'll put the name up on the screen. And we picked up some of these only because they had such pretty colors to them. This one is a magenta color. There's a rooster in someone's backyard. This one has red spines, which is really cool, but definitely not something you can touch. Thank you, rooster. And this one should have pink flowers. So there's a pink flower in the back. Kind of hard to see. I think it's emerging. It hasn't opened up yet. We also picked up a few other ones that are fluffy, and I really dig this just because it looks like messy hair. There were some that look similar to this, but my sister told me to pick this one up, and I think I just really like it. And this one is a graph, so we picked, well, actually my sister picked this one because the shape was just so funny and weird, but this is grafted onto each other, so there are two different ones. This is something that I've been eyeing for quite a while, and this is the Opuntia with the purple colored, and it looks kind of like a heart shape. So you can see all of these ones kind of mimic that heart shape, and that's why I picked it up. I took this one from my sister's friend's front yard, and this one needs to be planted too. I don't know whether it's going to survive. This is the elephant, is it the elephant cactus? Elephant and ear cactus, I think is what it's called. This one I picked up near the end, and unfortunately this place was cash only, so I couldn't pick up a lot of the things that I wanted because they kind of add up. And I think this one was only $12. It was really cheap because other nurseries had them for way more expensive. This is something that my sister picked up. I think it might have been for me, I don't remember. But I liked something at the Lincoln Nursery that was bigger, and I just like the fuzz on the leaves. So hopefully this one will survive as well because it was really small and it just kind of like fell out of its pot. So this is what we got from Francis Cactus Succulents. Unfortunately, none of these has names on them, but you can kind of figure out what they are from the way that they look. It's just kind of a pain to have to like go and look at everything and make labels for them. I'm one of those people who are really organized, so I do want to have names on all of my items, so I'm gonna make labels for them. But if you are just interested in some succulents that you don't care about the names and they are pretty cheap, then this is the place for you. This is from Mickey Hargitay's gardens, and this is one of our favorite places to go to. This is a Hoya that we got. And first of all, I just want to say that this was such a freaking zen place. If you guys are in that area, in the Los Angeles area, please go here because he is so freaking nice and he has the most wonderful plants. His prices are so great. They are not expensive at all, and his place, like, you could just sit in there and spend your entire day in there, and it's just amazing. It's so zen. He has waterfalls, he has all sorts of beautiful things, he has some orchids, just so many different plants. This is the shooting star. So this is the shape of the flowers, and he was so nice as to tell us that this needed to be watered right away. We watered it right away after we got it, and it did survive the week that it was in the car. This is something that I picked up just because I thought it was really cool. The leaves are pretty cool. This is the Ficus petiolaris, Mexico. So the leaves look like they're heart shaped, and that's what I really like about it. This is a desert plant, and I believe this was one of his newer plants. He said that we got all really cool plants because these are all of his newer ones that he got. I believe this is a succulent that my sister picked up, and I really like it too because if you touch this, it feels kind of like, it's almost like sandpaper, but not really. It's sort of like a rough, papery texture. And this is the teensiest, weensiest little cactus. It actually has a little baby growing on the side right there. And his little label finds us at Mickey's Plants. So this is Mickey Hargitay's collection. This is also one of those like crazy hair, I always think of it as like a crazy hair old man kind of cactus. It has some really hard spikes or spines right there. And this one was one of my sister's plants as well. Unfortunately, it did not survive the heat, and also we didn't see it until it was too late, so we didn't water it, and I don't think it will survive. This is just one of those peppers that are super small and cute. By the time that we saw it, it was already like that, and I don't think it will come back. Hopefully it will. We'll still water it afterwards and see what happens. This is a sort of ground cover succulent. And you can grow this as a ground cover in your backyard. It just gives the slugs and snails some food so they don't eat your fruits or something. But also because it's just really cute and is drought tolerant. Another plant that I picked up was the Madagascar palm. And I think one of my viewers actually recommended that I start on these. So this is the Pachyphytum lemurii. This is only $12. I thought this was really cool. But this is the, it's called the Frizzle Sizzle. It's actually the official name. But this one, it curls a little bit more, and my sister picked up a smaller version, which I'll show later on. The blooms aren't spectacular or anything. It's just the shape of the plant, like all these curls. And this is something that my sister picked up for my dad, and this is a bonsai. It's super duper heavy, and I told her to pick this one up because of its shape. We always like the way that bonsais look, especially with these types of plants. And there's a guy who is fishing, although he doesn't look like he has any fish. But it's just really cute, and we thought it would just be good for my dad. These two are called the sensitive plants, and I actually got them because I grew up with them in Vietnam. And there are two different ones. So you can see that one is a lighter color. My sister likes the lighter color. I actually like them both, and I thought, you know what, for their price, I will get them both. Unfortunately, they kind of went through a hard period in the car because they were squished, and then they kept on getting touched by the other plants. The other plants were all over them, and they kept on closing, opening, and you can see just they take energy from the plant when you touch them. But it has these fuzzy pink flowers that are super cute. Mickey was so freaking nice because I asked him if he would sell one of these water hyacinths to me, and he said they are not for sale, but I could grab one of them. So he just gave me a pair of scissors, and I was able to go and cut whichever one I wanted. I wrapped it in a little bit of water and in a plastic baggie, and it has survived. So this one is going straight into the fish pond right away after I finish. This one my sister picked up for me, and actually she picked up all of these for me because she was super duper nice as to buy all of my plants for me. I don't know whether that there's a name on this, but if I find the name, I think their name was actually in the store, but I don't have the name right now. It's just super duper pretty, and it's actually survived quite well. We didn't water it at all for a week in really hot weather, and it seemed to be fine. So the two most exciting plants that the whole reason why I went to the nurseries for are the Bird of Paradise. This is the orange red version. You can see that the leaves are slightly different. The white and blue version actually looks similar or more similar to the bananas, and there's a little bit of a leaf burn right here, but these were just really good prices. This was 25 and this was, I believe, 30 or 35, I don't remember, but they were in really good condition, and I've seen other places where they sell it for $20, but the plants weren't as nice. So I had my eye on this one for a long time, the white and blue version, and I cannot wait for it to bloom because it's going to be fantastic. These air plants we got from Rainforest Flora. We initially was going to go to another place, but unfortunately it was not open to the public. It was just for wholesale. This is my sister's box and this is my box. I love that they have labels for everything, so hopefully we can still connect the different labels to them. I'm not going to go through a whole bunch of them, but just like this one is the Tillandsia Duratii. It curls at the bottom, so all the leaves grow upwards and then it curves a little bit down. This is one of those famous ones. This is the Xerographica, and it's always really big, and I get this one from other places as well, and it's pretty much the same price. He has some that were fragrant, like the flowers came out fragrant, and I don't know whether I know which one that is or not, or whether it's on there or not, but we picked up a whole bunch of fragrant one. So this is my box. It actually turned out to be a lot smaller than my sister's box, and this is just one of those famous ones. So my sister picked up a smaller version. This is the Tectorum, and they're actually pretty pricey, if you can imagine that. And they're easy to kill because they you would think that they need more water, but they like to have a little bit less water than the other Tillandsias. I just thought I'd show you just some of the ones that we picked out. This is, I think it's called the Neglecta. I just joked about it because I say this is a plant that you can neglect, but really I don't think that's what it is. I picked up some plants for my sister, so she has a bigger box and she's getting more into air plants, so she also got herself a few of the fragrant ones as well, and we both got this one. So oh yeah, this is the one where I always joke about it because it reminds me, when I read it I'm like Fuckiana, but it's Funkiana, but it's not Fuckiana. We got this Hoya from the Echo Garden, and it was so crazy. Everything was all over the place, and it was jam-packed, pretty much so tight. There were things everywhere. Most of the plants didn't have any labels on them. This was one of the few that had a label on them. This is the Hoya carnosa tricolor. My sister looked at a Hoya in the Rainforest Flora, and she said she really liked it, and our cousin grew it when we were kids, and so I picked this up for her because the foliage was just super cute. So you can see that it's see how it's variegated, it's almost variegated, and then there's pink in some parts of the white, so that's why it's called the tricolor. So this is something that you can grow even when it's not in bloom. It looks really cute, but definitely not one of my favorite places to go, and my sister was very overwhelmed, so we just left after a while, and I didn't get any of the cactus I wanted because none of them had names in them, so I wasn't even sure if it was the ones I wanted or not. Alright, so the next up is Cal-Orchid. So on our way back, we actually went to Cal-Orchid, and I didn't realize, but when I looked up on the map, Cal-Orchid is actually right across the street from Santa Barbara Orchid Estate, and I planned on going to both of them, but we went to Cal-Orchid, and then we talked for quite a long time, the owner and us, and then it turned into a whole like 4 or 5 hour session of talking, and we never made it to Santa Barbara. And by then we were just so tired, and we didn't get back until like 1 in the morning. But I picked up quite a bit of plants. So this one, I thought that there was a label on it, and I am not able to find it. It's huge and it's fragrant. It's intensely fragrant. Look at the little nose on there, the frilly lips. It's just a really nice plant, and I just love the fact that it's super duper fragrant. It filled up the entire greenhouse with its fragrance. Now this one is called a Phocia edulis, which my coworker introduced me to. And what's really great is that when I went to his place, I really dig all of his non-orchid plants. They're just super cool. I ordered a vanilla variegated form online, and it was on eBay, and then when it got sent to me, it was rotted, which was not very good. And so I picked up another one. Hopefully this one will survive. It's pretty. I'll set the entire pot onto another pot and then just build a little place for it to climb onto. My experience with vanilla is that when they have something where their roots are attached to, they'll do a whole lot better than if they're just laying like this and they have nothing to attach to. So this one is supposed to be a peach colored flower, but it turned out to be a dead colored flower. Ha 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 ha. Yesterday it was in really good condition, and unfortunately today, because of all the travel, and then we were so tired that we didn't empty this out until today, that it just is completely dead. I don't think the labels are correct, so because I looked up the labels and they're not correct, so I'm gonna have to like find the names of this, or probably email the owner and see if I can get the name of it. But then again, you know, it looks like that, so how can you really identify it? These two are the same. This is the Pachypodium succulentum, and I saw this plant as a bonsai, a huge bonsai at the Cactus Center, and of course they were not on sale, and I wouldn't be able to afford it anyway. The owner didn't have anything available, and then the one that she had that was, she said was similar, was like $30, but over at Cal-Orchid she gave me the name of the exact plants that I wanted, and look, it's $15. It's in great condition. I got 2 of them just in case I killed one. What I'll do, I might grow one as a bonsai and then one as a regular plant and see how that works out. Now, this one, my sister actually discovered it. This is the lamb's ear, and we learned how to grow it. It's super duper soft. It's so soft when you touch it. And what I was taught was that when you grow these, when they grow out to be too big, these will get old, and what you want to do is you want to break it off. Break it off so then the energy comes back into the babies that are growing out here. Now these are pretty new, so we don't want to break them off, but eventually when they get bigger, they'll break off. And also what happens is that they'll bloom, and then what he's noticed is that you'll get hybrids. So it'll kind of cross with other plants in his collection that are sitting near there. So you can see that this one is slightly different. So this is a hybrid of this plant and something else that was sitting next to it. And so you would get all of these different hybrids. This one's more blue and it's soft, but it's not as soft. My sister picked up this one and then I picked up this one. I picked up this one before she picked up the other one, so of course I got the better one. Mine has a lot more babies, and he actually demonstrated to me how to just break it off. You just take your hand and you just break the entire thing off, the bigger leaves off, because they get kind of drabby after a while, and then you want the plant, you want all the energy to go back into the new growths. And some of these already look slightly different. I also have some hybrids down here that are kind of fuzzy, but they're not quite the exact same thing. So I got different hybrids than what my sister got. And usually that's what happens with these guys. They just kind of cross each other. He also pulled out one of his pups. One of his air plant pups for me, and this is a pup. It's super big, right? So he orders them, and then he has a whole bunch that are super huge, and he said he usually orders them for his friend, and then he keeps some for himself. Now I got a smaller version of this one, as this is the Cattleya leopoldii, two different ones that are crossed with each other. This is actually one of my favorite orchids in the whole wide world. So I thought I would pick one up, and he only had one of this. He said it doesn't do that well for him and that I could have it. This one, when I picked it up, he said, oh, you know what, I would like to keep this. And then later on, because he usually keeps them for crosses and so forth, but later on he brought that out and he just said, yeah, you know what, you can have it. So this is a cross of two species, and it smells freaking amazing. I don't have a bloom that I can show you, so you probably have to look it up what it looks like. I picked the one with the best roots, and it's just so freaking amazing. The fragrance is awesome, and that's why I picked it. I also picked up a Pachypodium Saundersii. This one can also be grown as a bonsai. At this point, I don't know whether I'm gonna grow this as a bonsai just because it's so not bonsai by now. It's so big and tall. So I'm not sure what I want to do with this plant as of the moment, but I probably should make that decision pretty quickly before I put it into a slightly bigger pot. I might just keep it like that now. The spines are really hard. And I also got some freebies. So two different Spanish moss, I'm sorry. This is a curly kind that I don't have. He just pulled one off and gave it to me. And this is the softer, more like angel hair, which I call angel hair because it reminds me of like angel hair pasta. And there was another one that was even thinner, but I didn't get that one, and I should have asked him if I could purchase that one too, because he had a whole bunch of that. Last but not least, this is the Sobralia rogersiana grande. This is supposed to have gigantic blooms, and I asked him if he could pick a shorter one because it didn't fit, the bigger ones didn't fit into my car. But these, if you guys have seen my Sobralia video, the Sobralias grow up to probably 6 feet to 7 or 8 feet tall. They're pretty big, and in Southern California they can be grown outdoors all the time. It's just that Southern California, nobody wants to grow orchids. They seem to grow more cactus. But they have the weather for orchids, which is kind of funny. And this is on the pricey side. This is actually one of the most pricey orchids But I thought, you know what, this is a species and it has huge blooms, and I've always wanted a Sobravia, and they're kind of hard to ship because they're so big and huge and expensive as well, so I would pick that one up. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys survived the video. Stay tuned for more videos from me.